everyone. Welcome to the morning show. We're coming to you today on WJOP-LP Newburyport at FM 96.3 on Channel 9 and on Newburyport Community Media's YouTube channel at ncmhub.org. I'm your host, Mary Jacobsen, and I'm so happy to be able to devote today's show to the upcoming Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. And I have two perfect people with me today to talk about that month. Debbie Hart-Klein is here. She's founder of the New England chapter of the Karen Wellington Foundation, but she's also involved in many other forms of activism and engagement. She's core team leader of Indivisible Rise Newburyport and member of the board of their statewide Indivisible Mass Coalition. She's a board and programming committee member of the Paula Estes Center for Art and Activism and strategic team member of the Women in Action Huddle, and she's also on the executive board of the Newburyport Democratic City Committee. Debbie, I don't know how you find the time to come here today, but I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking time to come on the morning show. It's my pleasure. And Michelle Petryk is here. She is also busily engaged in bettering the lives of people coping with cancer and those who care about them. She is Director of Cancer Services at Jaques Hospital. Michelle, thank you for taking time to come to be on the morning show today.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Well, Debbie, let's start with you. I know that you founded the New England chapter of the Karen Wellington Foundation. So please tell us the foundation's origin story, why they were formed, and what their purpose is.
Thank you. Yes. So the foundation was formed 15 years ago in Cincinnati. Karen Wellington was a young woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer at 31. And she died at 40. And while she was living with breast cancer, she kept saying to her family, I look at the calendar and all I see is chemo, radiation, doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
We have to add things to it. We have to do things that are fun. And she also said that when she beat cancer, what she wanted to do was give one woman a year a trip so that they would have fun.
Yeah.
Someone who might otherwise not take that trip or have that fun. Well, she didn't beat it, and the foundation just kind of grew organically. When Karen died, people called and said, where should I send flowers? Where can I make a donation? And her husband and good friends said, you know what, donate money and we're going to send somebody on a trip.
Yeah.
So that first year, they sent him on a trip, and now the foundation's up to close to 1,500 gifts.
Wow.
Of fun. We call
Impressive.
Gifts of fun. So spa days, tickets to events, all sorts of things. And then as they grew, chapters grew up. And each chapter is someone who came in and wanted to do it for some reason or another.
Yeah.
And I was drawn to the organization because my mom died of breast cancer. And when she was going through the process, she said it was very similar to Karen. She said, I am not a cancer patient. I am a person who has cancer. I know that it's going to take my life at this point, but I have to live while I can.
Yeah.
So we did all sorts of things, trips and family reunions, and, you know, by the end, even going out for Chinese food was an outing. So when I learned about the organization, I just was really drawn to it and said I wanted to start it in New England.
You know, it's such a great story because it's driven by somebody's will to live life thoroughly and be alive and vibrant, and not to develop their identity around being a cancer patient, but to be a human being, you know, who's dealing with something deeply challenging and getting treatment. But in the meantime, you're still who you are, and you're going to live your life to the fullest. And it sounds as though Karen Wellington was that way and was an inspiration, and that your mother was also that way, and has also then provided, these women provided great inspiration and a really deeply meaningful and important legacy to carry on that spirit of being fully alive while you're alive.
Right.
So, well, just to expand that a little bit, Debbie, so what difference did it make for you then to have these memories of your mother, you know, while she was coping with cancer and getting treatment, but that there were other kind of fun things that you were doing? What difference did it make for you?
It's been huge.
Yeah.
You know, to this day, I look at the pictures of those times, and I know that those last few years of my mother's life, she was able to enjoy her kids, her grandkids, and just it. So the fact that she was able to have that time really is so important to me, remembering back. And those days were precious because we knew they were numbered. So,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it strikes me that whenever anyone we love dies, what we have are memories.
right.
Sure.
And so, how wonderful to have vibrant memories of joy. Really a profound difference
Yeah.
that the foundation and that the gifts of fun, which is a great phrase.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
What-
it so
what's a
much.
better
Gifts
gift?
of fun. Yes.
It just feels like it sums it up.
Yeah, that's right. It does, and it's easy to remember.
And everybody knows that it's fun. It's just not the patient. It's the family members or the
Absolutely.
neighbors or anybody else that's totally involved in their support care. That they know of Karen Wellington, and she is going to give them a gift of fun.
Right.
And it is
No,
for the
it's-
family too, because they
Sure.
are going through this
Yes,
in a different
yes.
way. I mean, for the spouse and the children, it's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
And having a week away or a day or
Oh,
even a few hours
so
away
good.
from cancer,
Right.
take your mind off it.
Right.
Put it aside.
Yeah.
While you can. It just makes a huge difference
Right.
for the recipients, meaning the person who has cancer and
Right.
their loved ones who participate.
Their emotional
Right.
being just gets relieved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not having to think of, oh, I have cancer. Oh, what am I going to do
Right.
next? Where do I have to be next? They're out and about. They're doing their thing. They're living their lives, and
Right.
it's beautiful. It's just
Right.
We're in the world.
Yes.
And we hear that from recipients
Yeah.
who come back from their
Yeah.
trip or their day at the spa or wherever they go to say, you have no idea how much of a difference this made, how healing this was for me and my family, how much I didn't even realize how much I needed this.
Sure.
And
Yep.
comments like that,
Yeah.
they're just it's so rewarding to do this,
Absolutely. Yeah, how wonderful to give people a gift of something they didn't necessarily know they needed until they got it, and then it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And how great for you to be able to hear about the impact that the foundation has made in giving people something they didn't know they needed but
Right,
benefit from
right.
enormously. So,
And I find that people are so thankful, but really, I am so thankful to them. I am so thankful to be able to do this. I mean, I'm going to start crying.
It's
I mean, I
okay.
have tears in my eyes a lot when I
Yeah.
meet these
Sure.
women and their families, and just it's huge. And
Yeah.
of course, for me, I think about my mother every day.
Of
doing
course.
That's right.
You know.
Yep.
of course.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful way, like I said before, it's such a wonderful legacy to be able to continue the gift of affirming life.
Yeah.
Because, we can all get caught up in the stresses of our daily life,
sure
but
do.
sometimes
Yep.
things put things in perspective,
Yeah.
and it's really useful to put things in perspective and recognize what really counts, and the gift of fun counts. It makes a huge difference for people. Go ahead, Michelle. Will you
And
say
I'm
something?
glad people do use the Karen Wellington Foundation because, working in cancer, I've been in cancer for 15 years as a nurse, I've learned what my patients have taught me. If you want to do it today or tomorrow, because you just never know. And that's for somebody who's healthy, who has a healthy family, for your neighbors or your friends. And that's what I encourage people to do is if you want to do it, sign up for a foundation and go for it, and
Yeah.
it's extreme to me, and I can't imagine having a loved one with cancer and then having a nice trip somewhere, how meaningful that would be. So it's great. It's just
Yeah.
a wonderful, wonderful, loving foundation.
Yeah. Well, let's fill in a little bit more the pictures let's visualize the fun. Tell us a little bit more about the kind of fun that you gift. I know you've mentioned, trips. I think people make vacation homes available. Tell us a little bit more, as I know
Yeah.
there's a range of things.
So that has been that's a huge piece of what we do is give people weeks of vacation in people's vacation homes. It's a unique ask that we make to donors. I mean, obviously, like any nonprofit, we ask for money, but many of our donors give a week of their home,
Wow.
their vacation homes, which is for some people that's a tough ask, but we find a lot of people, once they do it once, it's like addicting because they are part of it and they get to meet or communicate with the recipients and see what difference it makes. So so there's these trips. There's also spa days. Here in New England, I have a great relationship with Mirbeau Spa, which is in Plymouth. We send, they've been wonderfully generous for spa days and overnights with spa treatments too. It's just a great getaway. And we had someone go there recently with her best friend, and she wrote me and she said, how much it meant and how they had a really long therapeutic cry in front of the fire, and so it was a good release for her. We do tickets to concerts and sporting events. We do staycations. COVID, we really needed to, change things.
Yeah, that's right.
So we started doing gift baskets and staycations and spa days at home where you just get a bath. And so we have continued with those. But when we talk to, it's a little different than Make-A-Wish in that a nominee can't say, well, I always wanted to go to Sedona for a week. And we give them a week in Sedona. We find out their interests, we find out their schedules, their energy levels, what they would really like to do. And then we work with our donors and new donors. I mean, often I'm going out to people to say, I have somebody who wants to take their child zip lining, and you have a place in Loon, and they have zip lining. So,
okay.
And so we often make matches that way.
Yeah, great.
But it really is talking to the recipient to find out what is good for them.
Yeah, what would really be exciting and meaningful for them, and then within the constraints, of course, you can do your best to sort of make sure that you can find something that is as best as possible a fit for what would be meaningful and truly enjoyable for the person. That sounds great. Well, Michelle, as Director of Cancer Services at Jaques, I know that you collaborate and coordinate with Karen Wellington Foundation and other resources that you provide. So could you first talk to us about how you collaborate and coordinate with the Karen Wellington Foundation, and then perhaps talk a bit about some of the other resources for cancer patients that you coordinate and collaborate with?
Sure, sounds good, thank you. So we have a social worker that is in the office. She's in our office 3 days a week. And she's been with us for about 5 or 6 years, and she meets with the patients either over phone if they can't come in, if they're not feeling well, or in the clinic setting. And so then she figures out the need of the patient. With her social work background, she's able to decipher, maybe they would fit into this foundation, or maybe they would fit into Karen Wellington Foundation. She tries to sporadically put them into each foundation. So then what she does is if she thinks Karen Wellington Foundation is a great fit, she reaches out to the website, and there's a nomination form on the website, and she nominates them.
Okay.
So she likes to kind of read the patient and the family of what is the most need that they need in this setting, and what is the best support. So that's how she's able to do that, and then she reaches out to them, and then they coordinate, and that's how it kind of, the ball starts rolling in that way. The other foundations that our social worker links us up to are different styles of foundations or resources. We have a website resource that you can go on there, and if you need nutrition help, you could go to the nutritionist on that website, and they're all validated professional people that this group has researched out to make sure that they're good. They're a good resource.
Yeah, credible, and
or pet therapy or alternate therapies. And then we have an exercise program group that is local. We do a lot of the resources are helping with finances. Because when the patient, and if that's the breadwinner of the family, and they're going through treatment and they can't go to work, who's going to pay that National Grid bill to keep them warm or cool throughout the hot summer that we had, or a cell phone bill to talk to their best friend for a couple hours that they just need to vent to or have an emotional cry. So we have a lot of financial resources that Sarah's the social worker, she's able to reach out to, and it's a smooth transition and process that, you know, they go online or they send a fax cover sheet and, you know, kind of explain everything of what needs to happen for the family, and it's pretty smooth. You fax in the bill to them and it's miraculously paid, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a lot of foundations that supply us with gift cards. So gift cards to Market Basket, gift cards to gas stations. So, you know, the one piece of COVID that really hindered the cancer patients was rides.
Oh, gosh,
you know, so the transportation to get to treatment and home and to everywhere else that they have to go with all the doctor's visits and everything, that really stopped it. So the gas cards are tremendously helpful for the
I'll
patients.
bet, yeah.
And we're able to hand them out at the center, and it just, when you hand somebody a gift card, the joy that you can see from the patient just comes right up through them, and half the time all they can say is thank you. But you know there's so much more behind that thank you, and of course there's a few tears and everything, but that's what's to be expected. And for us, handing them that it's priceless.
Gratifying,
you know? It's
totally.
so wonderful that we're able to do that for them. So that's pretty much most of our resources that we use over at the Cancer Center. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm sure that a surge of relief must sweep through somebody when they find out that some of these things are available to them, because of course they're going to be worried about what they're going to do about, you know, gas money or grocery shopping or rides, and so I'm sure that they're hard to find words adequate perhaps to the surge of relief, but I'm sure it comes out as a thank you. And what I'm understanding from you is just how comprehensive the array of foundations and different types of help, and it's wonderful. It's reassuring to know that those range of services that can elicit the surge of relief are there for people. So there could be, and that you do screening for that is what I'm hearing from you. For you individualize it. So there might be somebody who you go, well, this person we have to call Debbie because they need a vacation.
That's right.
They need a spa day.
And I'm familiar with all the other organizations and
yeah.
coordinate with some directly, and others I don't necessarily work with them directly, but I often am sending people to other places. Sometimes I'll talk to someone and I realize they need more than a vacation. They need help with groceries, with rides, with babysitting for their kids, with a whole host of things that aren't KWF, but I can at least refer them to the right place. So.
Yeah, so that's a great kind of coordination then that you can offer people. And I was going to ask you, how do people apply to be a participant, to be a recipient and a donor? And you've started to answer that if somebody is currently a cancer patient through Anna Jaques, that your social worker will be screening for that and making suggestions. Are there other ways people can?
So for Karen Wellington Foundation, as Michelle said, there is a nomination form online. Anyone can nominate anyone. The only requirement in our organization is that it be someone with breast cancer. I keep talking about women, and breast cancer impacts women much more, but men are,
they get it too.
Accept men
Yes,
recipients too. Breast cancer is our only requirement.
The
There's no
overarching kind of
requirement for what stage they're at in their cancer. There's no requirement that they have to prove financial need. It's just you have breast cancer, you are entitled to something. I do work very closely with social workers at the cancer centers. I work with Dana Farber, Beth Israel, Mass General, the Leahy Clinics, Exeter Hospital, New Hampshire, Dartmouth, Hitchcock. So
that's a broad range geographically then.
Absolutely. The social workers, I think, have a real finger on the pulse of the patient, and they know. But friends nominate. So anyone listening, or either of you, if you know any, or you know people with breast cancer, and then we have a committee that looks over the nominations, and as I said, everyone will get something, but they look at where are they at, what is the urgency for
Yeah,
prioritizing
true.
them,
Yeah.
and is this somebody who already has 2 vacations on the books this year, so they need something smaller. So it's really looking at the whole
Yeah.
nomination to
Yeah, to put it within the context
Right.
of other kinds of
Need,
considerations and factors,
Yeah.
yeah. And how about if somebody wants to become a donor? If they go, well, I've got extra gift cards, or or
Yeah.
I've got a vacation home, or I have a vacation home in Sedona
there you go.
with a zip line.
Perfect combo, yeah. Well, on our website, which is KarenWellingtonFoundation.org, which I think we'll post on the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
That there's a place for becoming a donor too. But also, people should feel free to email me, and that's debbie.newengland@KarenWellingtonFoundation.org. And because it's not that easy to just fill out a form to say, I'll give a week of my vacation home.
Yeah.
And so those we usually talk to people. But
Sure.
yes, we're always looking for donors of every type,
Anything,
in kind, homes, money, whatever, because
Anything from a gift card for gas to a vacation home in Sedona with a zip line.
Right.
You'll take it.
for Maui, we actually have some very generous donors
No,
in Hawaii,
wow.
which is
Excellent.
huge.
Fantastic.
That's great. Well, closer to home than Sedona or Maui, you have a fundraiser coming up for
We
Karen
do.
Wellington. Tell us about Pause for a Cause coming up on October 15th.
So it is our first one like this. It's a dog walk, and it's on the rail trail, a part of the rail trail, just from Washington Street to Parker Street. And we have two professional photographers. We have a raffle. We have snacks for dogs and people, and just sort of fun games. We decided, because we're all about fun, to try to plan a fun fundraiser that would be just an enjoyable time outside, to get the word out about the organization here locally, and to raise some money and have some fun. And people are welcome with or without dogs. We've been calling it a dog lover walk versus a dog walk. So
Okay. Yeah.
That's a good idea, yeah.
and it's October 15th.
Not everyone gets to have a dog.
No, I know.
You know?
But you can come enjoy them.
But
It's at 10 to 12 on October 15th. I know that's a very busy day here in Newburyport, but it's early, so you can do
But
that,
you-
and then
yeah, you
do
can
the
come
art
for part
walk
of it.
in
That's
October
right.
Right. It's not
Right.
we're just any time between 10 and 12.
But you'll have to make sure that your dog gets the snacks, because they won't be happy with you.
No.
You skip that part. Yeah. Can you tell I have a dog?
Oh, good. Well, come. Yeah. But we definitely have special treat bags for the
And-
dogs at the beginning.
And
so.
who doesn't like getting a professionally photographed portrait with your dog?
Yep.
Or just your dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yes, on the YouTube version of this of the morning show, you will be able to find the URL to click on to register your dog and yourself, or just yourself if you're just a dog lover and you don't get to have a dog. So that will be on the ncmhub.org. Click on YouTube's, and then playlists for the morning show, and then scroll to today's date, and you'll find the URL to click on to get information about that. Well, Michelle, there is a community forum on survivorship
Yes.
that AJH is co-sponsoring with some other organizations, coming up on October 13th.
October 13th,
At the Firehouse Center
Yes.
for the Arts. So tell us about the forum that's coming up.
All right, so we are so excited for this forum. So it's about a patient, Lisa Lewis, and she has gone through treatment. She's a breast cancer patient herself. So we wanted to just highlight Lisa's story and what she went through, what she's still going through, the emotional piece, the medical piece, everything that goes along with a cancer journey. So on October 13th, we're going to have a forum at the Firehouse, and it's going to include physicians and myself. So physicians are Dr. Peter Hartman from the Jaques Breast Care Center, Dr. Claire Fung from Alliance Imaging Radiation, Dr. Colleen Navarro, who is one of our physicians at the Cancer Center, and myself. So we're all going to talk a little bit about how we supported Lisa in her journey. So Dr. Hartman is the surgeon. Dr. Fung is the radiation oncologist. Dr. Yavaro is our geneticist. She specializes in genetics. And then myself, and I'm going to talk about the social work and how it's all a community foundation that Lisa was able to do all here locally versus having to trek into Boston and, get her treatment down there. So we are so excited to be at the firehouse. It's kind of our big hurrah to be out all together. A lot of these foundations are going to be in the lobby area, so you can visit, you can donate, you can check them out and see how they help all of our patients. So that's 5 to 5:30. That's when the lobby is going to be open, and then the talk is going to be 5:30 to 6:30, and then we're going to have a reception afterwards. And there's a silent auction as well. So
Okay.
we are so excited that we get to do this in the local community and have all of the support from all of these foundations for Lisa and her journey that she had to go through for her breast cancer.
And I'll just add that Lisa is a Karen Wellington Foundation recipient.
Okay.
Really had a wonderful week at the beach in Chesapeake Bay.
Oh,
Her
wonderful.
family. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, it sounds like a really informative and inspiring event then.
Yeah.
That you're talking about one person's journey, but there'll be lots of different perspectives and angles on that journey that a lot of people might not know about.
Yeah.
So,
Gaining knowledge, having knowledge of something it's always relieving. And if you have to go through those shoes, you can say, oh no, I remember they said at this talk, I'm gonna be okay. So
Lisa's speaking too, isn't she?
Lisa is speaking.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Lisa's starting off, and she wrote out her whole journey, and she'll be able to read that, and and it'll be great, so great.
it's very generous of her to share her journey. This is such a personal kind of journey.
Yes.
But those are the kinds of things that are so helpful for people to know about because it makes it human. It makes it something we can all identify with and learn from.
Yes.
So it sounds like a wonderful event.
Yes.
And there is, I believe, a website, Pink October.
Yep, Pink October, ajh.org /Pink October.
Okay.
Go on to the website and register, and we'll see you there.
Great. We'll also have that website on the
Wonderful. Thank you.
YouTube
Yes.
It's an easier one to
description.
remember than mine.
Pink October, yeah.
Pink October.
Well, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I know that part of the point of Breast Cancer Awareness Month is the important final message we want to leave everybody with. So talk about screening. Go for it.
Screening.
She'll do that. But
Screening is so very important. And why? Why is screening so important? Screening is because it catches the cancer early. It also allows you to treat earlier than in later stages, and it allows for a higher chance of survival. So the first thing that you do is you go to your primary care and say, I'm ready for my mammogram. You get your mammogram, and if you need further testing, then there's much more further testing that can be done. It all can be done at Jaques. Locally, we have 2 centers. You can go to the main hospital, or you can go to Amesbury. They have a mammography center there, and that's a little bit more personal over there versus going to the main hospital. There's some fear walking into going to a mammogram and what's my results going to be, what's going to happen. But the main point is to get those mammograms done so you can know what your direction is going to be or your plan is going to be.
That's right. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. I love it. Thank you.
and there's no charge for if you have an annual mammogram.
That is
It
correct.
doesn't matter what your insurance is one way or another, right? It's all free.
That is correct. Yep.
I'm
Yep.
glad you make that point. That's an important thing for people to know.
Yes, definitely.
But the main message is do it.
Yeah.
Just go to it. Yep.
Well, I can't thank you enough, first and foremost, for the work you both do. It's just wonderful and so important and so impactful, really make a difference in people's lives. Both the people who may be coping with cancer, but the whole network of people that are associated with them and care about them. So thank you both so much for being light beams.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, for having us and for that compliment.
Yes.
And secondly, yeah, I know you're both incredibly busy people, and so I'm appreciative of your taking time to come visit the show and educate us today, because knowledge really is power. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's it for today, everybody. Please join us again next Thursday at 9 for the morning show. Till then, farewell.